In this video, we will review how expanding an OmniVista Cirrus subscription in volume and duration will change the termination date. Merge and set a co-termination date for the licenses of switches and access points. When adding licenses to an existing subscription, the system will use a dilution algorithm to calculate a new co-termination date so all licenses, existing and new, terminate on the same date. The result is a shorter term for the new subscription because part of the duration of the new subscription is used to extend the date of the existing subscription to give you a co-termination date. Here are two examples to illustrate the process. In our first example, OmniVista Cirrus subscription has 10 OmniVista Cirrus licenses ordered with a duration of 3 years. The initial termination date is after 3 years. After 2 years, an expansion of 10 new OmniVista Cirrus licenses with a duration of 3 years is ordered. The initial termination date for the 10 expansion licenses would be at year 5, with the initial licenses terminating at year 3. The co-termination algorithm will modify the initial termination date depending on the remaining duration, volume, and type of initial OmniVista Cirrus license, but also depending on volume, duration, and type of OmniVista Cirrus license added. In this case, the co-termination algorithm will shorten, by 1 year, the termination date of the 10 expansion licenses, and will extend the termination date of the initial 10 licenses by 1 year. The initial and new licenses, totaling 20, now have their new co-termination date, which will occur in 2 years, which is year 4. Each expansion on the subscription manager needs to be activated first on OmniVista Cirrus application before applying another expansion on the OmniVista Cirrus subscription manager. Activation is done by connecting to the OmniVista Cirrus application and selecting Administration, License, License Home, and click the Check for Update to Subscription button. In our next example, the initial OmniVista Cirrus subscription has 50 OmniVista Cirrus licenses ordered with a duration of 5 years. After 2 years, an expansion is applied, adding 10 new OmniVista Cirrus licenses with a duration of 1 year. The co-termination algorithm will modify the initial termination date depending on remaining duration, volume, and type of initial OmniVista Cirrus licenses, but also depending on volume, duration, and type of OmniVista Cirrus licenses added. In this case, co-termination algorithm will shorten the initial termination date for the 50 licenses by 1 year and will extend the termination date of the 10 expansion OmniVista Cirrus licenses by 1 year. The result of the initial and the expansion licenses, now totaling 60, will co-terminate in 2 years, which is year 4. Remember, you can create multiple add-ons in sequence, but each one of them needs to be activated individually and in the sequence created. And the final end date is subject to validation due to the sequence of activation, so the actual end is based on the activation and co-term dilution calculation. This is done by connecting to the OVC application. Select Administration, License, License Home, and click the Check for Update to Subscription button. You can find us on the web at www.al-enterprise.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.